Hey y'all, it's your girl Haley J here. For those of you who are new, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Beauty Babe family if you're a returning subscriber. Hey girl, thanks for tuning in to another video. So I'm going to start by just applying some toner on her skin, getting rid of any excess oils that may be there, so we can start off with a nice clean slate. This is a Caudalie toner. I will have everything linked down below. For those of you who are interested in products, everything will be down below in the description box, so be sure to check that out. So her brows are already basically done. She has some microblading, so what I like to do is just apply some translucent powder onto the brows so the skin and the area there is nice and matte, because I am going to go over it to intensify it with a brow pencil. So I am applying my new favorite hydration serum from e.l.f. Skin. Get Into It. It's their triple bounce serum. It has hyaluronic acid. I don't know how to say this word, but I'll put it here on the screen. I think it's squalane and niacinamide. So it's just all overall good serum for hydrating the skin and just kind of even out the skin tone. I've really been trying to do a little bit more skincare and hydration to the skin for my girls before, applying the makeup. So I'm just taking this Real Techniques setting brush and dragging this, applying this all over her skin. Make sure it is nice and blended into the skin. And while I let that kind of like dry and absorb into the skin, I'm going to move back to her brows. So this is the NYX micro brow pencil. I use the shade Espresso, and like I said, her brows are already pretty much filled in, but I'm just really creating more of a outline and shape. And just doing hair like strokes so it looks more natural. I'm not really shading it in too much because I don't want it to look too intense, but just creating more of a defined shape. Now it is time to conceal her brows. So I'm just taking, this is probably Suede by LA Girl and Tarte Shape Tape in Deep. And I mix those two together, and I'm just taking a small flat brush, using the brush to my advantage on the flat edge and just dragging it along her brow bone. This brush is it's either a part of a set. I think it's probably a part of a set. Probably one of my Morphe sets, the MUA Life brush set, or the dupe that I get from Amazon. It'll be linked down below as well in my Amazon storefront. The brand is Just Up, so be sure to check that out if you're looking for some nice, affordable makeup brushes. But yeah, and I just dragged the rest of that concealer onto her lid because this will be her base for eyeshadow. And I'm just doing the same to the other side. Since this is more so of a natural glam, I like to keep all of the concealers and everything that I use to be kind of like close to her skin tone and nothing that's just gonna like pop out too much. So now it's time to apply the primer. I check to see if the serum is dry, and then I apply the primer, because with this Power Grip primer, if what's underneath it has not dried down or is still wet and it mixes with it, it'll start to like create a film on the skin, and you've kind of got to start all over. So just make sure all of the products that you're applying to the skin prior to makeup and primer and all of that, make sure it is just absorbed and make sure it's absorbed. So now I am taking just a little fluffy brush and pressing that concealer into her lid. Make sure it's nice and blended because we are preparing to do eyeshadow. And after this, I like to really set it. I put some translucent powder so the area is nice and matte for eyeshadow. So for her eyeshadow, I'm using this pressed powder by Black Radiance in the shade Cafe. It's like a really reddish, warm brown. And as y'all see, I'm just patting the product onto the lid. I like to get a nice and full coverage before I decide to go in and blend and diffuse. And I usually only really diffuse like on the edges, so it's not like a harsh line there between the shadow and the eyebrow. So yeah, just like pack the shadow on, make sure she's, you know, nice and pigmented, and then I do my swiping motions more so in the crease. So today I decided to do a little underpainting. So I am taking, I want to say, Sable and Toffee possibly. Sable and Toffee with the Too Faced Born This Way concealers. I mixed those two together and I'm doing her cream contour straight onto the skin. Using this angle brush. This is a Morphe angle brush, angle contour or blush brush. They all are kind of the same. But as you see, I'm patting this on. I'm not swiping, I'm not blending, because we need it to kind of be like, how do you, like, you want to apply it first and then you blend after. Like, you know, get your placement down, because when you're doing this technique, placement is everything. You want to make sure everything is where it's supposed to be and it doesn't leave where it's supposed to be. So I like to do the hollows of the cheeks, the forehead, and the chin, and I'm going to do a little bit on the sides of her nose. And when I was doing her eyeshadow, I did drag a little bit of the eyeshadow onto the nose, so that's why it looks a little bit darker there. So yeah, and I really like underpainting. It's so fun. Like, I feel like you really get to tap into your artistry, because it's like, girl, we really doing this from scratch. But anyways, this is me applying, y'all, this is liquid lipstick. I suggest using an actual liquid blush, but I don't have any and I still want to get the effect, and I'm professional, so yeah. I just mixed two of the NYX lip lingeries together, and I'm just taking this fluffy brush and I applied it first, and now I am blending. But with this liquid lipstick, you gotta work fast, because once this dry down, baby, it's not moving. So I really had to get in there, and I wanted to make sure I placed it like right there under her eye, but like on that outer edge, you know what I'm saying? I be seeing the girls do that a lot, so I wanted to get that look too, and I'm making sure that I'm blending it into the contour as well. And now it is time to conceal. This is looking like Chestnut, possibly Chestnut from Too Faced. Don't quote me, but it's something around there. I should have showed it, but like, I was really focused when I was doing this, so I was like, girl, just, you know what, we'll figure it out. Anyways, Being very strategic about this too, placing it right there underneath her eye, and just on the outside of her eye, just kind of like snatch her face, because she already has like this the shape of her face kind of like this elongate. She already has the snatch. We're just intensifying it, and with the ponytail it's just snatching it even more. So yeah, it's doing what it needs to do. But yeah, you already know the highlighting areas. If you don't, it's underneath the eyes, the top of the lip, the bridge of the nose, a little bit on the forehead, and the chin. As y'all see, she snatched. The blend is there, and we're not even done yet, because then we got to mesh everything, and it's going to really just come together. But yeah, this is me doing my little underpaint situation. Like, I had so much fun doing this, y'all. I had so much fun. And I feel like everyone should know how to do this, especially like summertime, because this is how I've been doing my makeup minus the cream contour. Like, I've only been doing concealer, and it looks so good. It's lightweight, and it don't feel like too cakey. Now, underneath the contour, I took some of the concealer and I mixed the Light Reflecting by NARS and Namibia, something a little bit closer to her skin tone, just to sharpen up that cream contour and give her a little color underneath the contour. So yeah, to give her a little bit coverage down there. And of course, you got to spray this, baby. You got to spray this all the way down. Make sure she locks in. This is the MAC Fix Plus Stay Over Setting Spray. And I'm starting off by blending the bottom half of her face first. This is an e.l.f. buffing brush. Blending out that first, making sure she's nice and seamless. And then we're going to go in to the concealer on top of the lip and just work our way up. And I was getting a little crazy with it here. So I was like, okay, Haley, maybe not that right now. So I blended out the forehead. And I did apply a little bit of that foundation between the concealer and the contour, so it'll mesh a little bit better as well, too. Yeah, just be very light with your blending. Make sure you use good brushes. And you just, blend the best you can. Take your time. Don't rush the process. Make sure you're keeping everything in its place. And yeah. So when it came to her under eye, I did need a little bit more precision. So I went in with my powder puff, and I am just pressing this into her skin. How this is blending out just really did it for me. Like, I was so excited about this. And just make sure you just pressing it all the way into the skin and blending it with the cream blush, so everything is just nice and seamless. And make sure there's just no harsh lines. I get these powder puffs from Amazon. They will be linked down below in my Amazon storefront, so be sure to check that out. They're super affordable, and I just like them because they're disposable, and I get them in like a 40 pack, and I can just throw them away when I'm done. And yeah, so just doing that on both sides, making sure everything is nice and blended. So for setting powder, I'm using the Laura Mercier in medium deep and just pressing that into her skin, making sure I am mattifying her under eye, making sure there are no creases underneath her under eye. You always want to make sure that the under eye is blended and there are no lines or creases before you apply powder, because once the powder is applied, you're kind of just sealing the lines into place, and you don't want that. Naturally, the makeup is going to crease, but you don't want to like start off that way. You want the makeup to be nice and set, and then over time, like if it does crease, it's not as prominent. So yeah, I'm making sure I'm just really locking her in, y'all. It's summertime and the job work. Okay, no, let me stop. It's hot, y'all, so I am really just making sure she is nice and mattified. This was her birthday makeup, and I just wanted her face to really be locked in. So I am really pressing this powder in. But the thing about the powder, I'm not applying so much at once. I'm literally just laying the powder on, so it's not so heavy, because if you put too much powder on at once, it'll dry out the skin real fast, and we don't need that. So yeah, I'm just applying this powder literally everywhere, pressing it in with this with this powder puff, especially on her forehead. I'm focusing on that T-zone area because that's where a lot of the girlies tend to get oily. So just the center parts of her face, going in on her chin as well, and then I'm going to take a brush to get underneath her cheekbones. So now that the face is nice and matte, I'm going to go ahead and just reiterate what we already placed with our creams. So just applying a little bit of powder to the cream contour. I mixed the Warrior 1 palette, the tan shade that's in there, with the bronzer that I use, the pressed powder that I use on her lid. I didn't have to do too much because the contour is already there, so I don't want it to be too dark on her skin, but I just wanted to kind of like bring it back to life. And I also did the bridge of her nose as well. I did the same thing with her blush. I went in the Juvia's Place Warrior 2 palette and took that orange shade and the pink shade and blended that in on her skin. I really wanted her blush to be prominent because I love me a good blush. And I made sure I went very high on her cheekbones, right there, like, I don't know how to explain that area, but y'all see where I'm pressing the brush, right there, like really close to her under eye. And then I went on the apples of her cheeks as well. But with the apples of her cheeks, I used the lighter shade on the apples of her cheeks. And this is me just applying a little of the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in medium deep, in dark deep. And this is like her overall finishing powder. And for her lips, I just went in with a dark brown shadow from this Morphe palette, and I'm just applying that on her lips as her liner. And for her liquid lipstick, I mixed some of the concealer that I used with probably Dune from Ruby Kisses, the liquid matte lipstick that they have, just to give her like a warm, peachy, nude look. And I'm having her blot her lips together, and I'm just going to take a brush to kind of like really blend her edges. And for lip gloss, I used the Ulta Beauty Jelly Gloss in Starfish. It's just a perfect nude gloss for all skin types, and I really love it. But yeah, you just want to make sure that the liner that you use or whatever that you use to line the lips and the liquid lipstick is nice and meshed, so it looks like one unit. Everything is about the blend, babe. Everything is about the blend. And I did the same thing with the gloss. Apply the gloss. I feel like the gloss just really locks in the look for me. So yeah. For her eyeliner, I use the Inglot Gel Liner. What's New, my favorite liner. I just take it on a disposable spoolie, or you could use a brush. I see that when I use brushes and the liner dries down on the brush, it's just very hard to get out of the little brushes that I use. So I'm just using spoolies, so I could just, not spoolies, disposable lip brushes, so I can just throw them away when I'm done. And this is me going back into filling her brows if we lost any like color or pigment. And I'm spraying her with the MAC Stay Over Fix Plus, and then I'm going on top of that with the NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray as well. You want to make sure that your girls are nice and locked in. So yes, I do double set. And this is me just taking the fan to make sure she is nice and dry. And I did decide to kind of brighten her under eye up just a little bit with just a lighter powder. You can't really tell, but it's just a little finishing touch. I applied it with the powder puff directly, you know, in the innermost part of her under eye, and a little bit on her nose as well. And that pretty much completes the look. I, of course, did her bottom eyelashes. I used the Essence mascara from Ulta. It's like $4, and it's really, really good. And I'm taking this on a disposable spoolie. I get my disposables, all my little disposable things, Amazon, girl. So check that Amazon storefront. It'll all be there. But this really completes the look. She absolutely loved this, and I'm so happy like with this technique, how I was able to give her the full coverage, snatched summertime look without too much product, not a heavy face, not a cakey face, but it's very seamless, very natural, and perfect for summertime. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave me a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.